fact that a 4-week T-bill now is a negative return. And correct me if I'm wrong. If you give Uncle Sam $1, he'll give you back 98 cents on a 4-week T-bill.
That's correct. And the significance is that they're trying to drive yields down, and they're doing that by buying, the Fed is, by buying treasuries in the market. And that also increases liquidity because they usually buy them from member banks, there's 12 member banks, or 13, one or the other, and other large banks and other banks as well. And so what they do is they credit their account and they debit their own, and then they try to, and most of the time they're successful, in getting the recipients of that money to act in certain ways with it, like rigging the market for them.
But doesn't it also mean that there's a lot of people that have very little faith in anything else, that just simply parking their money in short-term U.S. treasuries just so they have liquidity?
Yes, it does, and that perceived safety is misguided, I can promise you.
Yes. I'm sure you were aware of Gene Arnsberg from Resource Investors.
Yes.
He's coming out with a report tonight where he documents the commercial short positions in gold and silver. And he says they have gotten even more concentrated since his last reporting period.
That's right.
And he says that...
I have the report, the earlier report in the day from Gene on the fly. And gold and silver COT information. Is that the one you're referring to, or is there one coming after that?
No. I mean, the numbers are staggering, Bob. 3 banks or less are responsible for 67% of the commercial short position in gold.
Yeah, I have that right here in front of me.
And 99%.
Yeah, I got that this morning, actually. I thought there might have been another report. Do you want me to read a line from it here, or do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, no, fire away.
As of December 2, gold closed at $783.39. The CFTC reported that 3 U.S. banks had a net short positioning for gold on the COMEX division of NYMEX of 63,818 contracts. The CFTC also reported that as of the same date, all traders classed by the CFTC as commercial had a collective net short position of 95,288. That means that just 3 U.S. banks accounted for 66.97% of all the commercial net short positioning on the COMEX for gold futures. And it gives a graph showing it, and there's no question that it's market manipulation. And, of course, the banks are not named, but we know who they are. And that is J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and in all probability, Citigroup. You were going to say something?
How do we know? I mean, do we know that these are bank entities? And I mean, is it possible they could be hedge funds mixed in with this, or would that be a separate entity?
I think it would be separate. He says that is one heck of a dominant position in gold futures on the COMEX, held by so few entities. For a little context, the net short positioning of the big U.S. banks represents a net short positioning of just under 6.4 million ounces, which is just under 200 tons of gold. As of December 4, there were 2,918,028 ounces classified as registered in COMEX warehouses. Now, when it's registered, it can be used for delivery for people who hold December contracts in this case. So these 3 U.S. banks were net short 218% of the amount of deliverable gold from all COMEX members would use the COMEX warehouse. Now, he goes on here. For silver, it is even more interesting, startling. On December 2, as silver closed at 9.57 exactly, two banks held a net short positioning of 24,555 contracts. The CFTC reports that as of the same date, all traders classed as commercial held a net short position of 24,894, which is almost the total amount. So we get two banks holding the entire short position. So the two U.S. banks, with one particular Fed member bank probably holding almost all of it, had a sickening 98.64% of all the collective commercial net shorting on the Comex division of NYMEX in New York and silver. Now, anybody, and this goes on, it's a wonderful report. In fact, I think I might put the whole thing in tomorrow morning. I'm sure Gene wouldn't mind. But it just shows you anybody who thinks that there is not manipulation in our markets is an absolute idiot.
What kind of scenario would we have that would force these banks to cover their shorts? Because we seem to take one step forward in gold and silver and 3 steps backwards on a number of occasions.
Well, you sound like a existential I can't get the word out. Dialectician.
Yes.
And sort of a cross between Hegel and Feuerbach. But anyway, you got that, huh? But anyway, look, they've got a master plan going here. And I don't know if you noticed today, but not only did the 4-week treasuries go into negativity, we had the 2-year bills at 0.83%, down 11 BPS. The 10s were 265, down 10 BPS. 1-month LIBOR was 164, down 19 BPS. And the 3-month LIBOR, which is the most closely watched, was 216, down 3 BPS. So they're driving down all the yields. And it's like I said, it's to accommodate the housing markets, not only in the United States and Canada, but in Europe, particularly in England, Spain, and Ireland, which are the big problems, and throughout the world, because most lenders are using LIBOR. In the United States, they use LIBOR in the U.S. 10 notes. And so that's what they're up to. And at the same time, of course, they're spending tremendous amount of money, which they are manufacturing out of thin air, and that is very, very inflationary, sooner or later.